It's time for number 51 in my Best Picture Marathon. Best Picture Marathon theme song. Brilliant actor John Cazale only appeared in 5 movies. Each one of them is a masterpiece that was nominated for Best Picture. 3 of them won. His final film was Best Picture winner The Deer Hunter, released in 1978 by Universal Pictures. Cazale died from lung cancer at the age of 42 just a few weeks after wrapping on the film. The Deer Hunter is the story of a group of blue-collar friends in a Pennsylvania steel town who enlist to go fight in the Vietnam War. After a big wedding sequence and a day of deer hunting, they ship out, and subsequently come face to face with the traumatic horrors of war. The Deer Hunter stars Robert De Niro, Meryl Streep, John Savage, and Christopher Walken in an excellent Oscar-winning performance. The film is beautiful, intense, haunting, and heartbreaking, with gorgeous cinematography by the great Vilmos Zsigmond and sensitive direction from Michael Cimino. Cimino's only previous major film was Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, but it was enough to get him the job directing this film. When he came on board, the plot was significantly reworked by multiple writers, to the point where the Writers Guild of America had to step in and arbitrate who actually got screen credit. Unlike during World War II, during the Vietnam War, Hollywood studio executives were very reluctant to actually make any films about the war. Vietnam was just too controversial a subject at the time. It wasn't until after the war that we started seeing a surge in movies about Vietnam. The Deer Hunter was one of the earliest Hollywood films that explicitly dealt with the war, and it is harrowing. The film has been criticized for being very long, and also for the inclusion of the Russian roulette sequences. Historians contend that that's not an actual thing that happened in POW camps in Vietnam, but Cimino isn't necessarily making a factual documentary about the war. He's telling an emotional story about people, and the randomness of Russian roulette reflects the random violence of the chaos and horror of war. It's a metaphor. Universal executives were kind of worried about releasing the film. Some even called it anti-American, possibly for the somewhat ironic use of the song God Bless America at the end of the film, used here as a prayer for peace rather than some jingoistic patriotic anthem. I've seen this movie probably 3 or 4 times over the past 25 years, and I think it's a masterpiece. It's definitely one that I've appreciated more as I've gotten older. In addition to winning Best Picture and several other Oscars, it was a successful film at the box office, grossing about 3 times its original budget, which led to Michael Cimino's next project, Heaven's Gate. After the success of The Deer Hunter, he got very ambitious. Heaven's Gate is a sprawling Western drama. Cimino was constantly having sets torn down and rebuilt. He was reportedly firing and replacing crew members on an almost weekly basis. The budget nearly quadrupled to over $40 million during production. That's about $122 million today. And even though the film's not terrible, there was no way it was going to make that back. It only ended up grossing about $3.4 million domestic. The failure of Heaven's Gate nearly bankrupted United Artists, and seemed to be something of a nail in the coffin for the new Hollywood. If personal director-driven cinema was going to mean that studios were going out of business, the studios were not going to stand for that. The following year, MGM bought United Artists and kept it afloat thanks to franchises like James Bond and Rocky. But unfortunately, that was pretty much the end of the new Hollywood era. But of course, there are still plenty of great films that came along after that. And The Deer Hunter remains an outstanding portrait of friendship and the trauma of war. Okay, we'll see Meryl Streep again next time with Kramer vs. Kramer. Until then, God bless America.